Technically, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Anuj, and I am aiming to save 3 minutes. So I'm targeting that on your first ring I should be done. Thanks for inviting us here, and let me try and bring this session's agenda to actually a different track here right now. The next 2-3 minutes, I'm not going to talk about the smart solution. I'm going to talk about the innovation philosophy at Piramal Surgical. We are basically a social enterprise that started in 2008 with a very simple agenda to make safe drinking water accessible at affordable prices to all the underserved. We don't have any misgivings saying we are going to be serving everyone, but the idea is, can we innovate, demonstrate, enable, and then promote community-level drinking water solutions and make this happen? So, what does this say? 6,500 BC. So the remnants of the first wheels that as of today archaeologists would talk about are about 8,500 year old, right? Potter's wheel happened sometime around 2000 BC. And I know some of you may already know this analogy on innovation, so please bear with me. Guess what happened by 3rd century BC? This was water mill, right? When did the spinning mill happen? 11th century AD. So what am I talking about? It's taking 4,000 years, it's taking 1,000 years, it's taking 700. We are definitely proceeding at a faster rate, but then it's still taking longer, and this is the same wheel, and we started flying around 1903. 1967, we were in moon. So, to the moon and back, but guess what was the challenge? All these smart engineers, all these pilots, scientists, everybody was still lugging their heavy luggage. Guess what? When did this happen? Any guesses from the room? 1980s. What does this tell us? Innovation is not a linear process. And possibilities are strewn all around us. We just happen to be very good at ignoring them. And I can see that obviously half the room is elder and senior to me, so obviously I'm saying this with all the humility. But here at Piramal Surgical, we are not trying to invent things, we are trying to innovate things, and this is what it means when we say innovation, right? We say, okay, there are things that just need the right application, and now we are in water sector, so let's start this story on Piramal Surgical. So where do we work, and why do we work? We are supported by Piramal Foundation. Piramal, as many of you who are in India would know, are a large business house. Primarily, their interests at that point in time were in pharmaceuticals. And we were keen on saying if half the visits to doctors are happening because of poor quality of drinking water, meaning because of waterborne disease, then what can we do about reducing that? And that's where we realized saying providing safe drinking water is the most effective preventive health initiative. Now, we are dealing with two different challenges in a country like India. There is a different access and different quality challenge in rural parts, and there is a very different quality challenge. And you have seen this picture earlier also, I think, in Hema's or somebody's presentation there. So that's the idea of a tanker in slums. Any guesses what part of Delhi, what percentage of Delhi population is still relying on tanker water supply? Any guesses in the room? Somebody from PhD? Sorry, I would like to keep it interactive. Otherwise, I'll have to finish within 10 minutes, right?
60%.
Sir, we are not so bad. So 33% precisely, 32% is the part of Delhi which is actually the part of the population of Delhi which is without pipe or beyond the pipe, if you may like to say so. And that's where the tanker supply kicks in. Now, what does Piramal water do? So one of the key ideas there is saying, look, water is a local problem and a local solution is needed. It's a global phenomenon. The problem is everywhere. But the problem by nature is local and local solution is needed, and let's find out local solution with the help of a business model. We believe water purification technologies have been around. It's just that the business models have been missing, and we firmly believe saying you need one champion, so we create a local entrepreneur. Even if it is a CSR supported project, we create a local entrepreneur to run the entire value chain, which is pretty simple to say depending upon whatever is the contamination, pick up the purification machine, and that's about it. And the person will sell it half a US cent a liter, 25 paisa a liter, 30 paisa a liter. Now, governments have started doing tenders of thousands of these decentralized drinking water kiosks. How do you know which one is working on what day? 2 years back in this city, from the dais of Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation, I've actually requested all the guests, which were PhD secretaries of various states, saying, do you really know? Like, between you, you've done more than 5,000 machines. Does anyone know which machine was working yesterday? And if we don't know, then what are we doing in decentralized drinking setups? And the countries like India will have that challenge always. We are very scattered. Do we know how many people are really benefiting? Do we really know what quality of water is reaching them? And has what I think, there was a mention of whether the behavioral changes are being brought in, whether the community awareness and local marketing efforts are actually bearing any fruits. And then, if all of this doesn't happen, then how are we talking about sustainability, even if it is a paid service, right? Now, so what we ended up creating is, we said, okay, India was undergoing a telecom revolution. There are sensors that already existed. So you just put a SIM, put a modem, mount this on the water purification machine, build up the back end of ERP, and say, now you know which machine is working when to when, what quality of water is being produced, how many people are actually being served. And this is being done. As we talk right now, I can actually tell you saying how well my machine at All India Institute of Medical Science is doing in Delhi versus how well my machine in Shimla Ridge is doing. Okay? Now let's look at the other challenge, urban challenge. So in rural, we said saying that at least water source was available. Wherever water source was available, we were able to provide purification inputs, right? And then create a business model around it. What happens when you don't have the water source itself, or they are really scarce, or the law says saying you can't actually tap into the water? So then you have to obviously work in partnership with Delhi Jal Board or somebody or the other agency there. Then what do? You put up a machine at one place where there is a source and purify water and make it available at 15 different places. Now this is simply called hub and spoke model. It's spoken about, I think, first in 1967 by F.E. Schumacher. Many of you may have heard of him. But the idea here was to put an information layer on it so that you know which tank is running out of water when. So you swipe a card, you take 1 liter, 5 liter, 10 liter, it's all cloud connected. So it tells you this is the quality of water, this is the balance on your card. So it's a typical water ATM. But when the ATM has 1,000 liter capacity and it reaches 200 liter capacity, it sends an SMS to the vehicle driver, tank number 6, down to 200 liter, please come and replenish. So this is how the entire model works. And guess what? You again do the community awareness services. In fact, one of the key things I would like to talk about here is, in corporate world, people are still debating whether advertising leads to better sales or the sales lead to better advertising. Just because the more money has come in, you have more to spend on the marketing. Here we are for the first time showing that if you do community awareness marketing activities and lay it over your production, because these are daily production, people are buying water every day for their daily drinking water needs. When you overlay the two, you know which activity has the green flag, which activity has actually contributed towards taking the water offtake up, which ones have not. Now let's talk about something else. Many of you know about the Jat Agitation that happened a couple of months back. Munak Canal that brings the water from Haryana was actually for a couple of days was supplying hardly 1/4 of the water it was supplying. What happened to our system? The offtakes actually shot beyond 100% and 200% and 300% in many places. Why? Because we were not part of the same grid. We were off grid. So what does bring the resilience? The redundancy brings the resilience, and not being part of the same grid brings the resilience. So if one grid gets compromised or ruptured or disrupted, at least the second alternative is there. And that's where we are saying decentralized drinking water system should also be looked from the lens of resilience. What else happened? In Shimla, February 2016, this year, I got a call. We were in a meeting saying, hello, in some of our areas, we have had this jaundice outbreak, and this is in news. 10 people have already died. You have some water ATM machines. What can you do there? We said, okay. Within 4 hours, we can make all our water ATM machines provide safe drinking water for free, for nothing, for 10 days, for 1 month, as long as you want. And we'll give you the bill based on the offtake. So the metering is happening. Monetization can be done with the government, right? Just because this was a crisis response, you could, in a jiffy, just change it from the priced water to free water, and whatever little you could do, you could provide without wasting time, right? Now, this is what I mean by resilience here. Now, let's look at something else. This is where the title of my presentation, It's Safe, It's on the Go, actually belongs. So let's look at the public places we are talking about. And I really loved a couple of things here on this, right? Each drop counts. We are about actually metering and monetization of that. So I loved that piece here. The other thing here is to say a smart solution for growing India. Yeah. So what is growing India? Let's talk about the public places to begin with. You're buying a water bottle at 10 and 15 rupees. Another thing that I loved here, nobody has a plastic water, packaged drinking water bottle here. Thanks to the organizer. Yes, sir, you can hide that. Don't worry. Now, 10 rupees, 15 rupees bottle, okay? That's the price. Then what option you have? You throw it as litter. And what about 24/7 availability? Because none of your shops are actually operating 24/7, even those water bottle vendors, Panwala and everybody. So we are saying let's create a purification, chilling and dispensing unit for common commuters that can be put. And what is our definition of a smart city? Let's go to the next slide. So we are saying India is growing. More and more mobile users are there. So you are looking for where are the restaurants. Thank you, sir, 12 minutes. Sorry, I'll miss by minute and a half, okay? Youngsters are willing to align themselves with environmental causes like let's not use the packaged drinking water, right? So can we create a cultural change and can we create a smart city definition where every 500 meter you actually have safe drinking water access? Like in the case of banks, you are not carrying cash with you, but you have an assumption and your promise is met. Saying, yes, there is an ATM, you'll just take out the card and you'll get your cash. Sorry, these are the wrong times to talk about it, right? Because you are short on the cash. But regardless of it, the idea remains the same, right? The resilience of it, the promise of it, the ubiquitousness of this, it just says that if you have information layering on the water systems, you can provide safe drinking water. So let me try and articulate what is smart. Smart is safe as far as water is concerned. Smart is measurable, meterable, monetizable. You can make it 10 paisa per liter for slums and you can still charge 5 rupees a liter at the airport. What is A here? I am trying to build aspirational there. It is solar powered. Huh? By the way, all the ATMs are solar powered, right? So even if the power grid is down, they'll be working. What else? They are actually saying you can save on the plastic garbage. So these are aspirational values as of today in terms of environmental consciousness. What else you are talking? You are talking about resilience and you are talking about time. So these are available round the clock without manning. So this is what we believe smart solutions for growing India are. Thank you. Thanks for giving us this opportunity.